Hi, good morning. It's Thursday. I don't know what day. It's the 19th. I'm an idiot. It's the 19th, Juneteenth. I have the day off. That's why it's the 19th, but I know that it's the 19th. Let's talk while I make myself some breakfast. Welcome to this week's vlog, by the way. Let's turn you guys up just a smidge because we're going to be over here and I'm filming for over there. How are you doing? You having a good day? I hope so. I don't know why I did that. Like we're just having a little chat. Should I make tacos or toast? I think I'm just gonna make toast because I'm feeling a little bit lazy. But I could make bean and cheese tacos. No, I'll probably just do that for lunch and then I can, if I have any left over, I can give them to my husband. Yeah, how are we doing, gang? Are we okay? I have been reading too much recently. If you watched last week's vlog, you'll know I pretty much started every update with I read too much again, so cool. I do have today off, which means I am probably going to, once again, read too much today. The background noise would be Tibble doing parkour around my living room. For some fucking reason. I am going to be reading Death's Country. Before anybody is like, why do you keep your bread in the fridge? It keeps it from going bad, okay? I mean, it will eventually go bad, but not as fast as if you leave it out. So just so you know, if you have room in your fridge, put bread in there and then it won't, you know, go bad. Get moldy is what I mean by go bad. So Death's Country. I started it yesterday. I got about 25% in. It is like a 4-hour audiobook. I don't know if I'm going to do the audiobook. I'm tempted though to go sit at my desk, one, for the sake of routine, and then two, to play Fantasy Life and listen to it at the same time. This appeals to me greatly and is likely what I'm going to do. If I do finish Death's Country, then I will start When Among Crows, which is also a 4-hour audiobook, and I also might finish it. That's fine. I have backup books. I have other things I can read. I have a plan because I've been reading too much and too fast. But it's like I don't want to use my brain. I don't want to think. I don't want to use my brain. I've also mostly just been tasked at work with a lot of document writing, and I'm blocking out my time to work on that document writing, which means I'm not in a ton of meetings when I am working, and so I'm able to listen to my books while I'm writing my documents, you know? I don't know. It works for me. I know some people are like, why are you listening to things on 3x speed? It's not a competition. Okay, well, first off, it is a competition between me and me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I know it's not a competition. I simply do not want to ever have a thought. Not one singular thought in my head. Okay, so like, let's start there. I also think at that speed, the only book that, like, other than books... I never finished the thought here. What I was going to say, the only book where someone talks fast enough, like as fast as my brain, was the Paris Hilton book, read by Paris Hilton, who also has ADHD. So. With accents, sometimes I struggle with those at a higher speed, which is very frustrating because people talk too fucking slow. They talk too slow, and I need them to talk faster or I will get bored and stop paying attention. And I know that might not make sense to you, but I have ADHD, bitch. That's just the way that it is, okay? If I let myself have 2 seconds to have a thought, I will realize I'm not paying attention to the book. So if the book is on 3x speed, then I don't have 2 seconds to not pay attention, right? That's the witchcraft of it. Nobody has said these things to me directly. I've just read them on the forums, okay? I'm on the forums. We've talked about it. Of course I stop guru gossip. What the fuck? I love some gossip. I love some gossip. I also feel like it's the best way for me to get a pulse on some of the opinions of the community, like actual opinions. I feel like sometimes people don't want to give their actual criticisms and opinions on a booktuber or on booktube because they're afraid to like hurt feelings. But when they do it on Guru Gossiper, they're like, it's a gossip site, I'm a bitch. Which I don't agree with some of the toxic parts of that website. I also don't agree with those people that said I only read for clout. Although you guys gave me the funniest tagline that I have been using on my YouTube for years now, so thanks for that, I guess. I I just feel like it's a good way for me to get kind of a pulse on some of the opinions that people have and like think about them and consider them. It's also how I know when there's drama happening in the community, because I honestly don't know half the time anymore because I'm just like not online. And I know one time somebody tried to cancel me for being offline. I don't know that we've ever talked about that in full. It was on book Twitter, so. But somebody tried to insinuate that I was choosing to be silent on a topic, when in reality I had just literally been offline because Carly had flown in. Anyway, how else am I gonna know about drama? Because I'm not online that often anymore. I'm busy reading books. What are you guys busy doing? Just kidding. But I am gonna read some stuff today. I might listen, like I said, and play Fantasy Life at the same time. We will see, but I'm gonna eat this toast first. Maybe take my Adderall. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna be medicated or unmedicated. But my camera's overheating, so I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, thanks, bye. We're filming from this angle because you're on the big tripod and I didn't feel like moving it. Hi, it is Friday the 20th. I'm doing updates on my computer. I did finish Death's Country yesterday. 4-star read. It was interesting. It's in this like poetic formatting though, which young adult books do sometimes. I don't enjoy that. I don't find that enjoyable. And that might just be me. But I don't enjoy it. I did enjoy it a lot when I was younger, but I find it a bit unnecessary at this point. It feels like you didn't want to write a full book. I don't know. I don't know. Feels like a cop-out almost. That's a little bit nitpicky on my part, honestly. Like, I can own that, but that is how that feels. I also... No, that's all the reading I did yesterday. I could have read more, but I didn't. I didn't even start reading until like after my lunchtime. I did take lunch. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this like it's my regular work schedule. So I did go and take lunch and play Just Dance. Speaking of lunches and like working out, I've been doing, so there's a YouTube channel, maybe editing me will be able to put it somewhere, but there's a YouTube channel that has the Jane Fonda workouts on them for some reason, and I've been doing that. Yeah, I've been doing that for a bit now, and by a bit I mean like, I don't know, a week, but it's been really fun. I've been having a lot of fun doing it. They're really difficult. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up that YouTube channel so that you guys can, so that editing me can put it where it needs to go. They're really, really difficult. They're not very long. And by difficult, I just mean like, I didn't expect them to be as hard as they were. And they're very hard. Don't ask me anything about this channel, though. I don't know. I just know they have the Jane Fonda workouts on them. Today I'm going to be reading Wind Among Crows. Probably going to finish it. It's only 4 hours long, so I don't expect it to take me very long. I'm also probably going to go ahead and start Cold Eternity, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Cold Eternity. I'm going to start that by S.A. Barnes. S.A. Barnes writes some of the most horrifying horror that I've ever read. So I love that. So yeah, I'm gonna read that. At some point I'm gonna start I Was a Teenage Slasher, probably next week. But we will see on that. If I finish all of my reading, I might just go ahead and start it, but who knows, you know? Who knows anymore? That's it. Those are my updates. I've got to update some journal entries and stuff before my workday starts. So I'm going to do that, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, thanks. Bye. Monday, the 23rd. The weekend was good. It was solid. I did a lot of reading, surprising to me mostly. I didn't expect to do that, and then I did, so here we are. I finished Cold Eternity by S.A. Barnes. Did I say I was starting that? I don't know. Sci-fi horror. I don't know how S.A. Barnes manages to write the most absolutely horrifying books I've ever read in my life. But 5-star read. It was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Our main character is like running away from her problems and then goes on this like obscure ship where, I mean, it turns out, like spaceship, turns out that like anybody who takes that job doesn't ever come back. And she thought that meant like they just don't show their face in the area that she was in again. No. They don't ever come back. Huh? It's a whole thing about cryogenics and cryogenics, that thing where they freeze people, dead people. All of that. It was really interesting. I had a lot of fun reading it. It was terrifying. It was honestly a terrifying book, but I enjoyed it. I'm also 50% into I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm going to be finishing that today. So far it's interesting, but I don't know. I think the plot is that a slasher is like either there's somebody that comes back from the dead for vengeance, or like somebody that is like chosen and has like slasher movie style powers, like, oh, someone's turned around and can't see you and then suddenly you can run really fast, that kind of thing. Which is interesting in theory, and Stephen Graham Jones does a lot of things that are horror movie inspired, and I am a horror movie enthusiast, so I can appreciate that and respect it. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. So we shall see. If I finish that today, the plan is to start Coven Tendency by Zoe Hanamakuta. I really enjoyed the last book I read by Zoe, so I'm excited about this one. This one I'm going to be reading with my eyes, so it's going to be slow and steady, probably. Maybe not, though. It hasn't been, so we'll see. Here we are. I need to update my review pages of the books that I've read, and then I'm going to need to print out the books that I'm going to read, because I've got 2 more now that I'm going to be adding to this list. Maybe more than that, I'm not really sure. So I'm going to need to add those and then like update my book blanket plans so that I can make sure that final panel is correct. I also am going to be, the baby blanket that I'm going to be making, the yarn is coming in today, so I need to start the book blanket, the final panel today, so that I can finish it by tomorrow, so then I can start the baby blanket, because it's like I'm gonna have a month to make it, and I'm not a very fast crocheter, so it's a lot of rows. How many rows is it? Like, it just keeps going. 199 rows. 150 stitches across, so it's gonna be a lot. I think, though, if I try to do like 10 rows a day, maybe I could get it done. I think that's probably how I'm going to end up needing to do it, so that I don't hurt my wrist, right? I think that's what I'm going to do. 10 or 15 rows a day. So yeah, that's, I think, it. I'm being asked a question that is very funny, and I can't tell you what it is, but it's very funny. Yeah, that's it. Gonna update these things, and then I will talk to you guys later. Okay, thanks, bye. Good morning. It is Tuesday the 24th. Hi, do you have thoughts? No. As per usual, I read too much again. I did finish I Was a Teenage Slasher, 4-star read. It was good. The concept was interesting. Very It Follows meets your classic standard horror movies like Scream, with the rules of horror movies and that kind of thing. It Follows is a horror movie where you like pass on this disease or whatever. That's kind of the vibes that the book gave. It was interesting, it was good, it was nothing to write home about. That's what I wrote in my review. I was like, I enjoyed it, but like, I've read so many books this month and I'm like, this was fine. It was whatever. Neither here nor there, you know? I also started The Covenant Ascendancy by Zoe Hannah Makuta, and then I finished it. I read that shit with my eyes in one day. Here's the thing, Zoe Hannah Makuta's writing, it's the way that she writes is often train of consciousness, and it is insane. It's actually insane. But I enjoy that in the right format. So like Gearbreakers was not the right format for that because the characters were not insane enough. Off with Their Heads, correct format. This book, correct format for that. I enjoyed it, however I'm still a little confused. It was giving Madoka Magica. It's giving Madoka Magica, and I don't know if that was on purpose, but a lot of it is giving Madoka Magica. Meets like cannibalism. It was good though. Another 4-star read. I did enjoy it. It didn't make sense most of the time, but it eventually came through at the end. I did see a lot of people that were like, I can't tell. The time jumps are really hard to follow. Girlie, it says what if it's then or now. That's all you need to know. And also later that gets explained. They explain the time stuff. So it's one of those things that sort of makes sense later on. So Hannah Makuta's writing also requires you to pay a lot of attention. And so I do think that somewhere in the middle there I was a little bit distracted by other stuff, so that was a little bit harder to follow, but I still did, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm glad that Zoe's writing because I enjoyed the prose so much of Gearbreakers, but I hated the sequel, and I did not enjoy the first book enough. So I was like worried about any future books. I'm glad that it seems like Zoe's writing is finding its footing. Or at least to me it feels like it's finding its footing. I've enjoyed it. Then I went ahead and started Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. 3-star read. It was fine. It was mental health as a horror trope. Stephen Graham Jones is so hit or miss for me because like I Was a Teenage Slasher. I wouldn't say that I necessarily enjoyed Night of the Mannequins. One is a novella, so it's very short. I feel like a bit more could have been fleshed. Like it was very fast. It's like, also it felt like, literally it felt like I Was a Teenage Slasher and the, what is it called? The other slasher book that he has. It felt like those two. My Heart is a Chainsaw. My Heart is a Chainsaw. It felt like those two combined into a novella. So it felt like a story I'd already read from Stephen Graham Jones. So I didn't love that. And then I really struggle with mental health as a horror trope. I don't hate it. It's not my like, it's not like DNF grounds for me, but I also do not love it. Like it's not my most favorite thing to read. Then I've started Youth Juice by E.K. Satu. This has been on my TBR for about a year, I think. Maybe. I'm enjoying it. I'm like 75% in. I wasn't even supposed to start it yet. So I'm gonna finish that today. I ended up reading it with my eyes, but I'm going to finish that today. How much time do I have left? 2 hours left of the audiobook, so about an hour left of the audiobook. So yeah, I'm gonna end up finishing that today. And it's interesting. I have questions. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, where it's gonna go, but so far I'm not hating it. Our main character is unwell, but like, how unwell is she? And she's in this health and wellness industry that is equally unwell. So I don't know. We will see. We'll see how it goes. I also, if I do finish, not if, when I finish that, I'm going to start The Incandescent by Emily Kesh. The other things on my list is Graveyard Shift by ML Rio and The Witch Chronicles. I'm going to save the Witch graphic novels for this weekend because Ozzy and David are coming for roller derby, and I don't want to commit to like reading anything really intensely because I'll be busy and we're probably going to swim and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to read The Witch Chronicles this weekend. And then I think, and this is so, yeah, I'm going to finish Youth Juice. I'll get 50% in Incandescent today and then finish it tomorrow probably. And then I have several days left of reading, but I already finished my book blanket, so I gotta figure something out that's gonna be doable. I don't know. Speaking of blankets, I did get my yarn to start the baby blanket I'm making. So I've gotten 15 rows out of 199 in. I did this last night. This bottom part is not supposed to be pink. The white is gonna cover it. This is mosaic style, so it's just like the book blanket. It's like in the crochet style, so the back looks a little bit silly, although it is quite reversible, which is interesting because it's not very reversible on the book blanket. So when you look at it here, it doesn't, you can't really tell, but when I turn it around on the camera I can see it, so it's interesting. I want to get another 15 rows in today at minimum, and I think that that's a reasonable amount. It is 150 stitches across. And once I like block it out, it's going to be a bit bigger because this is pretty stretchy. So we will see. I'm excited about it though. I'm having fun doing it. It's a fun break from the other projects I've been working on. It's using a 3.5mm crochet hook. The pattern, maybe Editing Me will show you in the corner here what the pattern is going to look like. It is a Winnie the Pooh pattern, and I will try and put the person who made the pattern in the description box below. But yeah, we're starting that. It's going to be an interesting time. But that's it for updates. I didn't edit yesterday or Friday, I don't think, so I need to edit those days and then also today. So I'm gonna go so I can do that, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, thanks, bye. Good morning. I ended up getting, it's Wednesday, the 25th, wow, okay, anyway. I ended up getting 50% into Incandescent yesterday, so today the plan is to finish it, The Incandescent by Emily Kesh. So I kind of just decided that now is the time to eat. Tillot's decided that now is the time to scream. No one has any respect for my filming, apparently, around here. I don't know. So far I'm really enjoying The Incandescent. It's fun. It's fun. That's largely it, is I am... Yeah, that's cool. Just, yeah. Very much enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun reading it. I don't want to say it's cozy, but it's simple. Like, the magic system and everything is not simple, but the concept is. I don't know. There's something about it that I'm enjoying greatly. Like I said, I'm going to finish that. And that's it. That's all I'm reading right now. I've kind of run out of everything else. I'm so goofy silly. I forgot that I'm going to read The Graveyard Shift by ML Rio, which is a novella. It's a horror novella. I forgot. So, my bad. I don't talk about it at all in this video, and I should have. I might pick up The Lamb by Lucy Rose, but the plan is not to finish that until the end of the month because I don't, like, I'll get 90% in and then stop because I'm not adding it to the book blanket, by God. I'm just not doing it. I'm currently in a place where I don't remember if I wear this ring on my middle finger or not. I'm pretty sure I do, but my finger's still swollen this morning. I'm like 99% sure I wear it on my middle finger. You know what, today we're not wearing it on my middle finger because I just don't want to fight with my hands at the moment. Plus, I'm gonna wash my hair tonight anyways. I'm gonna take all my rings off again. I did get 43 rows into the baby blanket I'm working on. Hopefully editing me can put a picture here. Yeah, just making sure it's actually, my cloud is actually working because it was being weird the other day. I am gonna get, the goal at the moment is to get at least 50 rows in today. I want to do 25 rows a day. I have determined that's what I want to do because I'm not going to crochet on the weekends, and then that way I'm getting a good amount of progress in, and I have enough time to like wash it a few times because I want it to be as allergen free as possible in my house. It's a little bit tricky with the cats, so it's gonna be, you know, a little bit tricky, but it is for babies, so I'm gonna try. I think that's it. I don't have a lot to update on. I am forcing myself to slow down my reading, which sucks. I hate that. I just don't want to add more to the book blanket. If I do continue to read, the things I'm going to pick up are The Lamb by Lucy Rose, which I talked about. I'm possibly picking up today. I don't know. I need a book to read when I'm like trying to sleep, kind of. Speaking of, where is my e-reader? And then I also, yeah, I need a book to read when I'm trying to sleep. That's largely the thing there. So, I don't know. We will see. Words, stuff, things. I did, no, I think that's it. We're gonna do a Jane Fonda workout today. Oh, the other book I'm gonna pick out, The Immaculate Conception, which is one of the books that I got in that book box from Penguin Random House. So I'm gonna start that, possibly, and I'm gonna try to just read that one like physically, which will definitely slow down my reading time. I read a lot slower when it's not the dyslexia font, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world, but it is also true. And I have a few more books in my pocket, but any of them that I start, I'm not finishing until like July 1st, because I don't want to deal with that. So here we are. Okay, I'm very distracted, obviously, and I overslept, and I need to take my meds, so I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, thanks, bye. She chooses to do that only when I'm filming, I think. It's not true, she was doing it this morning when I was doing my hair and makeup too. I'm filming videos today, that's why I have hair and makeup done, unlike the last many days where I didn't have that done. Hi, how we doing? It's Thursday the 26th, which means I am closing out the vlog here. I did finish, I don't know why you wouldn't let me. I did finish Incendiary. That's not the book. That is a book I have read. Incandescent. I'm pretty sure that's the name. I finished that. 4-star read, surprisingly. I thought that it was going to end up being a 5-star read, like based on call pile. I was surprised when the math turned out that it was a 4-star read. Anyway, but I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of, I'm going to say it's a lot of fun, which is apparently the only way I know how to describe books. It was really good. I enjoyed the relationship dynamics. I enjoyed the kind of like twist situation at the end. It was solid. It was enjoyable. It was a conversation about what makes up the self, you know? And I think that that's interesting in that dynamic. I would like to see more from that world. I don't know if this is going to be a series, I don't know if it's a standalone, but I would like to see more from that world. Not necessarily from this character or the main characters, but just more set in this world, if that makes sense. I liked the magic rules, I liked the environment, and the atmosphere. I thought it was interesting. Emily Tesh is a fantastic author, also. I also started and finished Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. It shouldn't have been a novella, it should have been a full-length book, and that is really my only complaint. My second complaint is that it feels like it just cut off at the end. Like you were gonna write a full-length book and then changed your mind, and that's fine. I enjoyed the little mini essay at the end, also from the author talking about Dark Academia and When We Were Villains, etc. I don't know that I've read that book. I feel like I have, but I don't know that for sure. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Not fun, but yeah. I thought it was good but I still, it was like a 3-star read. I still wish it had been a full-length novel, and I think that's what takes away from it for me, is it should have been longer. Not even a full-length novel, it just should have been longer. Again, it just feels like it just cut off, and I don't like that, so yeah. And that's all I'm going to talk about in this vlog. I'm going to film a couple of wrap-ups. I've got my mid-year wrap-up that I need to film now that I've got all the stats for June. I need to film my June wrap-up, and then I also need to film my Book Blanket mid-year update. I don't know which of those 3 I'm going to film today, but I am going to film 1 or 2 of them today, so fingers crossed that I get that done, and that I get you uploaded. I think that's it though, so I will talk to you guys later. I hope that you have a great day and that you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, it's my life, so, you know, I will see you guys next week. Okay, thanks, bye.